Okay, interesting. You guys feel bullish about the BlackRock ETF. I do as well. But I also look at BlackRock and their support of the whole ESG thing for a very long time. Also, we know that Larry Fink had his thoughts on Bitcoin, saying basically it was just for money laundering. And it's just funny because on CNBC a couple days ago, and I'm sure you gentlemen have seen this video, he's like, this is going to become an international asset. And I was like, holy crap, I can't believe we are here in the movie. So anyways, I want to get your guys' thoughts on that.
It's good for
jump
business.
in, James?
Yeah, go for it. It's good for business, but go ahead. Yeah.
So BlackRock endorsing a Bitcoin ETF essentially throws out their ESG narrative against Bitcoin. And in fact, did you guys see the MIT study that showed how valuable Bitcoin is to the environment, actually? Bitcoin mining, rather. So I think that the BlackRock endorsement of a Bitcoin ETF doesn't mean they have abandoned ESG. It just means that they don't believe Bitcoin is ESG unfriendly. I don't know. I never thought it was ESG unfriendly. A lot of New York Times and Greenpeace knuckleheads think it is, but it isn't because they haven't done the work. And then what was the second one? The first one was ESG. What was the second one?
The second one was he said that Bitcoin is, and this was in 2018.
Oh, money laundering.
Yes.
Yeah. Money laundering. Okay, come on, guys. Let's remember what the biggest currency in money laundering is in the world. And I'll leave it there. Over to you, James.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I mean, like he knows the reason they're saying this because they have customers who want it. You know, they understand what I just said, that it's extraordinarily difficult and it takes a very long time for all of, like if you're an RIA, if you're a registered investment advisor, you've been wanting to buy, I've talked to IRAs who are like, I want to buy Bitcoin. I cannot do it for my clients. I can't do it because I don't have the function to do it in a way that I can prove I've fulfilled my fiduciary duty for them. And so he understands that. And we're getting to the point now where it's just undeniable. And when we're at that point, well, they're going to push the SEC over the edge, and they're going to get to a spot where the SEC has no choice but to concede and say, okay, you fulfilled the requirements for oversight. You can use Coinbase as the custodian, and we're gonna go ahead and move forward with this. And at that point, it's like Greg said, the floodgates open, and you're gonna have $50 billion pour in, and that to me is going to be the start.
The start of what, James? The start of what?
NGU.
That's right, NGU. Yeah, and you know, I mean, it's going to be the part where it becomes a separate asset class that every institution has absolutely no argument against allocating to. And what Greg had pointed to before, the Nakamoto portfolio. This is really important for people to understand, is you could plug in Bitcoin in any type of portfolio and see where it pushes your portfolio out on that risk reward curve and enhances virtually any type of portfolio you've owned since Bitcoin was created. And it's super important. And once portfolio managers, they grab onto this, they're not going to let go. And it will be an allocation that will take the place of an allocation to bonds, period.
Yeah. And also shout out to Hoffa for,
Hoffa's amazing. Can I just say, James, 100% agree. Yeah, isn't that cool? The Schrodinger model and everything. But 100% agree that it should come, the allocation should come from the bond portfolio. It won't replace bonds, right? I mean, bonds are the world's largest asset class. You know that. I just want to make sure viewers understand. Let's play some mathematics, okay? If total global financial debt is 400 trillion, and 1% of that debt got allocated to Bitcoin, that's 4 trillion of allocation, which is 4 times the size. Oh, excuse me. No, about 8 times the size
Yeah.
of the current market of Bitcoin. That's 1% of the allocation of the total global debt. Wow. This is why the numbers are so asymmetric. Okay. And
yeah, and remember, we've talked about it before. There's only a handful of funds who control $30 trillion of assets, right? And BlackRock is one of them, right? So you've got BlackRock, Vanguard, UBS, Fidelity, and I think State Street and Morgan Stanley are kind of like right on top of each other. But that's $30 trillion of assets right there between them. So BlackRock gets on board, Fidelity gets on board, State Street gets on board. When they allocate separately to this, it behooves everybody to. You can't have your neighbor portfolio manager. Like, hedge funds all talk to each other. That's why it's so difficult for hedge funds to make money these days, is because they're all in the same trades. You know, they're all on top of each other. And so when you have asset managers that are so big that are getting into it on the front end here, then you have not just the asset managers looking at it as a separate allocation, but then you also have the treasuries of these large corporations looking at it. And whether it's Microsoft or it's Apple or whoever, they can't deny it anymore. They're going to have to consider it. And once they start considering it, they're going to have to consider it, you know, in their own terms, and ignore all the nonsense and the noise from the media, and dig into it as a separate asset allocation themselves, because it's that important to them to protect their own capital. And that's what's important here.